scrape me in the mouth. Yes.
I absolutely love Miley Cyrus.
That was the sickest snipe ever.
Hey.
No.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Call Guys podcast. I'm Gunner, also known as Chico Noise, two-time podcast host, Patrick Mahomes fanboy, and currently trying to catch up on about 1,000 unread emails. Unfortunately, those emails aren't on the Call Guys email yet, but I'm ready for those emails to be on that email.
Just so you can ignore them.
Yeah, exactly. Alongside me, as always, my good friend Colton Keel, as I like to call him, Juan Keel 43, and our special guest today, Lil G Sumo Man, or Lucas Shafer, our really
What's
good
up?
friend. Lucas, you want to tell them about yourself a little bit?
Yeah, we all went to school together. We're just great friends, stuck around for a while. Gunnar
Yes,
and I
we
went
know
to
that. We know
college.
that, Lucas, but not all the listeners know that.
Hey, Gunnar and I, we weren't like the best of friends growing up, but 7th grade era, we just kind of stuck together.
Yeah.
Then we went to college, and then that's where we kind of hit it off, and we just have grown from there. And he's like my
Like
best
peas and
man.
carrots.
He was my best man, my wedding. Gonna ask for any more. And then along came Colton.
Along came Colton.
That's all I need to say right there.
Oh
Yeah.
man. So Lucas and I remember going on the golf trips to Myrtle Beach.
Yes.
I remember you being
Let
that.
the big dog eat.
Let the big dog eat. That's right. That's right. You remember, you know.
Oh man.
I've heard about those trips. I think you guys have both told me about those trips at
Hey,
different
they were-
times.
They were once in a lifetime, man.
They were great times.
Yeah.
I actually think the reason why I think I stuck around with that friendship of yours is because my mom liked you so much. And I have no idea why. I never got to ask her like what you thought of, like what was so special about you. But the only thing I could think of is that you both have diabetes.
Oh,
That was the
gosh.
only thing I could think of.
That was the only thing you could think of. She probably
No.
was just probably like, oh, that kid's got diabetes. I feel for him.
No, she loved everybody. She loved everybody.
Oh, yeah.
So
Hey, your
Yeah.
dad did too, man.
hey, I'm telling you, if you were in with the family, you were dang near a keel. So
Hey, yeah. Your sister did too. Emily loved me. So,
Yeah,
I don't
I'm tell-
know.
that's just the way the family rolls. So once you're
I
in, you're
guess.
in.
Yeah, they're all so nice, and then there's you.
Hey,
Yeah.
hey.
That apple fell really far from the tree.
I like to think it got kicked away from the tree. some
Okay,
days.
okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Probably right.
So, do you guys have that same problem as me? You just got a boatload of emails that you haven't read yet. Lots of spam, lots of just loaded up. Like your little notification bubble on your email thing says like $9.99 and it can't go up any higher.
That is definitely not me. My OCD goes like way up if I leave it. I cannot have a single red bubble on my phone.
Really? Oh
Yeah.
man. You know how long it would take me to get all the red bubbles off my phone? It would take days. Like there's so many. Every folder has a red bubble, at least one.
Just click make all red by or whatever.
Yeah, I should probably do that.
Yeah, I take care of those emails as quick as I can. But my problem is that I check it like once a day if I
Yeah.
remember. But I really don't get like that anxiety until like day 3 or 4, and it gets like plus 50. Once I hit that, I'm like, okay, I need to unsubscribe to some stuff. Get to the bottom of this.
Yep.
Oh wait, hey, here's an email that was important and probably should have been responded to 4
Yep.
days ago.
Okay, so do you have like the burner email where you like put everything to and you never look at?
So I technically have like 2 emails. I've got a work email and then like my everyday email. So I put most of my stuff on my I guess it kind of depends. I normally just use my everyday email and keep my work email for work like a normal person should. So I guess I would say I don't abuse the you abuse that. So
I don't abuse that.
I wouldn't say it's abuse, but like you have this really old Hotmail email that you have, and you just say you sign up.
No, man.
You don't have that?
No. I've had like 2 emails, like regular emails. My first email, everyone talks. It's it's one of those embarrassing ones. It was a Pimpin' Willie 09.
Oh my gosh.
I had that thing. I had that thing till I went to college. Went to
Wow.
college.
Lord.
I
Wow.
think I put that actually. I think I put that on like a basketball questionnaire. Like that was my email to get a hold of me, and I was like, yeah, I bet. I didn't think about it until a couple years later, and I was like, man, I don't wonder why that college never got back with me.
Pimpin'
Pimpin'
Willie.
Willie.
Yeah.
Oh man. Was that Hotmail?
Yeah, it was at Hotmail.
Oh man. I got asked like the other day I went to some place and I told him that was my email and she was like, you still use Hotmail? I was like, maybe.
Yeah, I do.
Maybe
Yeah,
I do. You
See,
judging me?
I still use Yahoo email for some certain
Man.
things, and I think that's kind of out there. But
But
I think a lot of people use Yahoo still.
I think Yahoo is more common than Hotmail.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Think about
No.
all those old email things that just don't exist anymore, and
I
if they
know,
do,
dude.
people don't even use them.
AOL.
AOL. Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, yeah.
Oh my.
So Lucas, you've listened to the podcast, right? From
All of 'em.
episode 1 all the way up. So I just want to ask you, what is your number 1 Marvel movie, MCU?
My number 1 MCU movie.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, let's see. Not being biased because I am a Captain America fan, but those aren't my top. Those aren't my top. I mean, you can't go wrong with the Avengers movies.
Yeah.
They're
Which
all
one?
good.
Which
Any
All of them.
particular-
I love all of them, but
all
they're
of
not.
them?
I wouldn't say that's my favorite.
Well, that's
Okay.
the question.
I know, but they
He's
are. They're
leading up to
good.
it. He's
They are
leading
like
up
my.
to it.
They are like my favorite ones.
Okay.
I gotta
Thor:
think
The Dark
about this.
World. Okay. Next.
Okay, Thor Ragnarok. Wait, is it Thor Ragnarok? That's the.
That's the third one.
Yeah,
Ragnarok's the third.
That's one
The
where they
one-
go to the. Oh, what's the world called? The trash world.
Yeah. Yeah.
I can't
Yeah.
think of what that world is called.
Uh,
You guys are
Jeff
supposed to be
Gold.
like the
Jeff Goldblum.
masters.
Jeff
Jeff
Goldblum
Goldblum's
is the master of
Yes,
that.
Yeah.
that realm.
yeah.
Honestly, I think that's one of my favorite ones.
Ragnarok.
Yeah, I know you were kind of bashing on it during the MCU talk. but
Whoa, I did not bash on Ragnarok.
I thought
That
that wasn't
was-
one of your favorites.
That was my number
No.
1, and Colton's number 2, I think.
I think Ragnarok is my top 2 or 3 movie.
That one is my favorite one. Like it's by far like the best. When Hulk is fighting up there and like is the Hulk
Yeah.
the entire time. It's my favorite.
Not only that, I love that how they tied that in after Ultron. They tied that whole thing
Yeah,
back in
it's
where he
perfectly
was left and
placed.
came back. It's Sakaar is the name of the.
Yes.
Yeah, I had to look it up. I just wanted to. I'm sorry, listeners. Our brains aren't working right now. Jeff Goldblum's
But yeah,
playing
that-
it.
If you made it this far, I'm telling you, you should be used to this by now.
Yeah. Yep. Oh, what's
That
the
is my
name?
favorite one though.
Yeah, that's by far one of our.
And
top
it
tens.
perfectly ties in from beginning to end.
Yeah. Yeah, and like I mentioned that it leads it right into Infinity War.
Mhm.
So it kind of is like, yeah, it's just a good transition point. Good movie. And then the other one is, do you have a number 1 sports movie?
Number 1 sports movie. Miracle's one of it's a top one for me.
Yeah.
But
Is it going to be
Remember
a
the
golf
Titans.
movie? Oh, I
No,
think you're going to
Remember
go
the
golf.
Titans is definitely my favorite. I've watched it so many times.
Yeah, yeah.
It's such a good movie.
It is.
that it is.
Beginning
Classic.
to end, you can just watch it over and over again. I haven't really watched that many golf movies, to be honest. Happy Gilmore is like one of the best, but you said no comedies, so
No comedies.
I was waiting for you guys to say basketball for so long.
Oh, it's
Yeah.
such a comedy. It's a comedy through
Yeah,
and through.
100%.
Man, you guys missed bench warmers in there.
Oh man,
I didn't
yeah, I
think-
didn't
well,
think
that's
about
a
it.
but that's still a comedy.
Yeah, yeah. I
Yeah.
did mention in the next episode after that Nick I met Nick or I didn't meet Nick Swartzen, but I saw Nick Swartzen and
I know.
he's in Benchwarmers.
On your
Um,
honeymoon, right?
yeah, yeah,
That's insane.
yeah. It's good stuff.
Yeah, I'd have to say remember the Titans. I've watched it so many times.
Right on.
That's a good movie pick.
Yeah, I agree.
There's so many good sports movies out there though.
Yeah, yeah. Lucas, I think you are a call guys pleaser, aren't you? You just want to say the things that are in our top, just because you know.
He's trying to
No,
get that.
it is-
He's trying to
no,
get
it
that
is.
callback. Is what he's trying to get.
Yeah, he's like if I say this, and this, I can come back and I can do it again.
Yeah.
Honestly, thinking about all the sports movies that I've seen that aren't comedy, it's probably not very many.
I believe that.
Most of them are comedy. I've
Yeah.
never even seen Rudy.
I'm not entirely upset about that.
Okay. Okay. As an Indiana person though,
Who cares?
yeah,
Is what it is.
Rudy was offsides. Everybody knows.
Uh,
I just love saying that.
Jeez.
Gets at least
Colton.
one Notre Dame person upset.
and Colton is trying to see how many people send us hate email.
I've got to have the most directed towards me.
Yeah, oh, I'm sure. Because most of the time I just sit here and smile like an idiot.
Yeah, until you say
Colton
Draft
gets
Day
on
is one of your
rants.
top 5 movies.
Yeah. Yeah, Colton does rant. And sometimes I do too, but
At least Gunner had good reason behind it, you know.
I've just got passion. That's my problem is that I
Yeah.
care too much.
You
He's
do.
a
And I'm sure
passionate-
a lot of people don't agree with you either. So
That's okay, and I'm okay with that.
that's
yeah,
why we
that's the
put our
point.
opinion
That's the
out
point
there.
of the call, guys.
Yeah, exactly.
But the
What's
problem
your
is that we
opinion?
agree on a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
But you all, yeah, you haven't really had any major disagreements yet
Draft Day. Draft Day has been
until
our biggest.
this podcast.
That's
Oh,
right.
this
Lucas is
podcast.
going to segue for us. But before we segue, Lucas, I do have
Yes.
the question of the podcast. And if anybody that's listening knows Lucas, they know that he owns the Skeeter.
Oh, jeez.
The Skeeter. So my question for you and Colton, if you could own a bigger boat, because the Skeeter is a smaller boat, if you owned a bigger boat, what would you name said boat?
Did you name the boat? Oh boy, I have to think about that one for a little bit.
And we can come back to it here in a little bit if you guys want to come back to it at the end of the podcast, see if maybe something just pops into your head or
Huh? Colton, you got anything?
You know, I think I'd just do something simple like come sail away.
Come sail
Just-
away.
yeah.
Something
Yeah,
simple.
That's not bad. Jeez, what would I name it? I mean, I don't even have a nickname for the Skeeter.
I always wanted to call your Skeeter. I had a name for it and I don't remember what it was. I had a name that it should have been, and I really wish I remembered what it was.
We're good
Well,
at this.
We'll come back to it. We'll come
This
back
is a
to
tough
it.
one, man. This is a tough one.
Yeah, I want to do something relevant to Lucas on this one, just because. I don't know. He's.
I've
he
never
owns a boat
honestly
and
sat
it's-
and thought about what would I like. 'Cause all I'm picturing is putting like one of those giant stickers on the back of a boat.
Yeah, it says
And
the name.
what would be on that sticker?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm trying to figure that out.
Type
Yeah.
1 only.
Type one. Ooh. Type one.
Type 1. That's not bad.
You're welcome.
That's not
That's
bad.
pretty
It
good.
works on a couple levels.
Yeah, yeah.
Hey, I'm just saying. So any video game that I play now, that is my clan name is Type One.
Mm,
I think
nice.
it's genius. We could have had Type One Gaming from the beginning.
I imagine the
we-
logos you could have
we
had with
missed-
Type
I
1
know. You
gaming.
could have had like a needle
We-
or an
we
insulin
missed.
syringe. You could have had a lot, man.
Like a finger comes and flicks it, and
Blood.
yeah. So
Yeah.
actually, Type 1 isn't a bad name for a boat. Actually,
Yeah, that is not. That's not.
I'm a big fan of the show Castle, and when I thought of this, he writes a book about the detective that he follows called Heat Wave, and I don't know, I just thought that stuck Heat wave. So yeah, my boat would be called Heat Wave.
And that's your reason is
Yeah.
castle.
Yeah. Why not?
Wow.
But imagine you dock that boat in Florida and somebody looks over and sees the heat wave sitting there and
Yeah. To be honest, it's probably better than the sticks. Choosing the sticks as your logo.
Sticks.
So yeah, come sail away.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Gotcha. Come sail away.
I didn't say how I would spell come.
Okay. I take it back.
C-O-M-E. How else would you spell it?
Yeah. There's plenty of ways to spell that word.
Yep.
Oh, Colton. You're killing me.
PG stream.
Yeah.
What? I didn't say. What did I say?
No, you didn't say.
What'd I do?
You didn't see nothing. More hate
Too
emails
high.
coming our way.
Too high. Too high. What's that even mean?
So, on today's episode, we have Lucas on here for a reason.
A reason.
Yeah, and well, the first reason is that I've just wanted Lucas to come on just because we've been friends for so long and he listens to the podcast, and it thought it'd just be interesting to have him come on. But we also needed something to talk about. Well, Lucas and I in college spent a lot of our time watching the Arrowverse shows, the CW shows, when they put them on Netflix. And it was something that we talked about pretty much every day. We'd go to the gym and we'd talk about the CW shows, or the Arrowverse shows, I guess. And our friend Colton here hasn't seen any of them.
Not a one.
Yeah, look at that face. Lucas just... So what Lucas and I want to do is try to convince Colton that he should at least give them a try. Because we've seen all of them, or at least most of them, up until
They're still being made.
They are. You got, what do you have right now? You have Bat Woman.
Well, Legends of Tomorrow is still popping out new ones.
Yep, which is an amazing show.
I love it.
And I think Supergirl might still be rolling too, isn't it?
It might be. It's not one of my favorites.
No,
It's probably my least favorite of the four.
Yeah. So Lucas and I just kind of want to roll through.
So okay, yeah. Because I got a question for you guys off the bat, but yeah.
Okay, yeah, go for it.
Okay, what are the episodes that are in the quote unquote Arrowverse?
The episodes or the shows?
What shows? Forgive me. What shows?
Oh man, you have Arrow, of course.
Okay.
The Flash.
Okay.
Supergirl. Legends of Tomorrow. Yep.
Okay.
Black Lightning.
Yep.
Is it Batwoman or Batgirl? I think it's Batwoman. It's Batwoman, I'm pretty sure.
I thought it was Batgirl.
I don't know. There's so many now. Newer ones that even I haven't watched.
Is it Luke Cage?
No, that's Marvel.
No, that's MCU.
It's Marvel. Dang, man.
See, I'm not. What are you doing?
I don't know, man. I'm not big on. See, you guys are super movie critics. I just watch them, enjoy them, and watch the next one.
And then you forget them. How dare you?
You know how hard it was for me to go back through this? I was writing down some of the villains, and I was like, wait, when did he pop into this?
Yeah.
And then I was reading about him, and I was like, oh, yeah. I definitely remember when that happened.
This is the expert you bring up on the show, Gunner. This is who you bring.
Listen. Back in the day, we were experts on these shows, and I haven't watched any of them. I've actually thought about going back and rewatching them, but then you look at it and you see all the seasons and all the episodes, and you're
12 of each.
I'm like, oh man, I should rethink this before I do it. But
Mhm.
eventually, I will.
22.
You guys are
22
making you guys are
episodes?
making
Oh, yeah.
points for me for why I shouldn't watch.
Now listen, Colton, just because it's a long show, you've watched Game of Thrones, right?
Yes, I've rewatched Game of Thrones.
And how many seasons of Game of Thrones are there?
What is it?
8,
Seven
7?
good ones, one not so good one.
So, and those are hour-long episodes, I assume, right?
Yes, and I loved them, most of them.
So, yeah, you'd be okay with these 30-minute episodes, and yeah, it probably wouldn't take as long as it probably wouldn't take as long as I think it would to rewatch all of it. But
Okay.
So yeah, Lucas, let's start with Arrow because I know that's one of your favorite
Oh,
shows.
that is my favorite one
Yeah.
of the DC universe.
So tell Colton why you love that show so much.
Well, starting out, like everyone was like, my dad was watching it. I heard it from you. I think Darren watched it. I was just like listening, and I was like, you know what? I think I watched everything on Netflix up to that point. I was like, I gotta check this one out. So I started watching it, and I think the first episode, where I don't know, I don't want to spoil it. Am
No,
I allowed to do?
spoil everything, Lucas.
Spoil
But
everything.
but Colton, I don't want to ruin it for Colton.
That's
I
okay.
think I'll be okay.
Okay, so like the first episode, Oliver's like on the boat. You don't really know what's going on. Okay, then it like crashes, and you know how everything that goes on. Gunner, you don't, Colton. I'm just not going to go into it because it's a lot of stuff. But then it
Show
like
goes
goes
deep.
back to but then like he's the Green Arrow and he's doing other things like what he's meant to do out there killing the people from his dad's book.
Yep.
So does that mean he's got a Green Lantern ring? Is that
No.
this guy?
Yes,
No.
yes.
Oh, okay.
No.
Green Lantern's light.
No, he's
So that's
you have
that's
failed this city.
well, that's the whole great thing about it though, is because like the whole first season, you learn what he's doing in the current day, but the entire time it's half flashback. So you learn how he got the powers while he's using them.
Okay, so it's like
Powers,
Book
powers.
of
Yeah,
Boba.
they're not really powers either. I would not consider
no,
them.
no, Colton.
powers.
The flashbacks actually help the story.
Okay, so it's
flashbacks
not
are
like
great.
Mandalorian 2.5.
No,
The Book of Boba.
No. So
Okay.
Arrow is that the first season follows Oliver's life on the island, being not so much trained, I guess. In
We
Leon
are
Yu.
the island.
Leon Yu,
Leon
yeah.
Yu.
He gets trained in the art of using a bow, pretty much, and then it flashes
Because of what
to
was
him
on
back
that
and forth.
island.
Yeah, which there's a lot going on.
It goes on
that
for
island.
like 4 seasons of flashbacks.
Yeah, that's
Back
true.
to the island part.
Yeah, they're good flashbacks.
But honestly, the flashbacks are why I watched it. I thought the flashbacks were honestly better than the actual present day stuff.
It's
in my
almost
opinion.
crazy because by the time you get to the last season, you're almost flashing back to the first season because it
Pretty
starts
much,
like getting
yeah.
to there and then coming back to some of the things that happened in the first season.
But then a bad thing about all 4 is that the further you go in, there's new heroes and new
Yeah,
people that they bring on that I feel like kind of ruin it from the old and what made the
yeah.
show the
You
show.
fall in love with some of those characters that pop in towards the start, and then they get into things where like they're doing like multiverse things later in the shows, and they're bringing back characters that might have died earlier or might have gone away, and they're bringing these characters back in, which is kind of fun, but also kind of like, but it kind of plays on the whole Batman thing. Like Oliver's a rich kid that is into money, but he's also there to be a vigilante and make up for his father's death by taking a book that he had with names in it and getting revenge on those people or taking out corrupt people and all this stuff. So it's a really good like parallel to Batman. I think he kind of has that same vibe, I guess he gives off.
And he was a rich kid. He never knew how to like kind of fend for himself. So when he got stuck on the island, that's kind of when he learned that
it's
there's
Castaway.
more to life than being rich and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, it's a very, very, very enjoyable show from the beginning to the end.
Yeah, and he
Oliver,
does actually kill the people. He doesn't like.
Yeah.
He's not like the normal superhero where you just fling them up and the cops get him.
Yeah.
Incapacitate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's certain characters in the show that you will fall in love with throughout the whole thing. You have Diggle. Yeah, 100%. Diggle is just one of the he's the family bodyguard for Oliver Queen's family, who his mom hires to kind of watch him. So
it sounds a lot like Batman already.
It very, very much so. I mean,
Kinda,
DC has that kind of dark side, that has that same feel.
Wash, rinse, and repeat.
Yeah, a little bit, but definitely kind of different. It's like Hawkeye meets Batman kind of thing.
Pretty much, yeah. But like there's also other characters like Sarah Lance, Laurel Lance,
Yeah.
his best friend Tommy Merlin,
Yeah.
who pops up later in the series, but
Yeah. Yeah. It's just wild how many characters do come back, especially the ones that die towards the start.
yeah.
And Tommy played a huge role in, I want to say, probably the first 2 seasons. And then, oh man, Laurel was probably in the first 2 seasons and then was
Yeah.
gone.
And then
And
she
then
comes
Sarah,
back in like the late ones.
yeah, Sarah's backstory is awesome. And then she goes into Legends of Tomorrow and becomes one of the captains of the time travelers.
Yeah. Which Legends wasn't even supposed to be like an actual hit.
No, it was meant to be kind of that cheesy show
Yeah,
that
the
was just
dumb,
like,
stupid, cheesy show that.
but it ended up being so good.
Yeah, I don't know.
Which,
I like it better than the Flash, but I
oh
know
yeah,
you're
me too.
you're a big Flash person, so
I,
I don't
I
know.
am, but I think Legends of Tomorrow was better than the Flash. To be honest, it kept me more entertained than the Flash. But the
Yep.
Flash did. If the Flash started out really, really cheesy, Colton,
Very,
if you were to
very,
go
very
watch
cheesy.
if you were to go watch the Flash today, the first probably, I don't know, probably actually the first season, the CGI would probably just make you not want to watch it. But once you get past that first season, you start getting into Barry's backstory and all the stuff with Flashpoint and all the stuff with time travel and all the stuff. Like it just gets so
Yeah,
good,
and
and
to
the
me-
characters.
To me, that's where the multiverse really kind of started with all these shows.
Yeah,
I think that was the first like multiverse pop out,
yeah,
if you are to say,
yeah.
because it definitely beat the MCU in the multiverse era.
Yeah, it definitely came before. I mean, look at all the things that DC did before Marvel did it. Like they had all these crossovers with all the characters crossing over into the shows. They had characters, coming from different universes because I mean, you have the DC EU and the DC U, which would be the CW shows. I don't even know. I don't pay attention to DC as much as I do Marvel, but you have the kid from the Flash movie or from the Justice League come into the Flash show, which was in one of the later seasons. But
but yeah, you also
is that
meet,
the
like,
one who's been
12 different
arrested like 3
Flashes.
times in the last month? Ezra
I
Miller.
don't know. Yeah, Ezra's been arrested.
He got arrested again.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Like today or yesterday.
What's he doing?
He's not doing nice things to people. He allegedly threw a chair and hit someone in the head.
Solid. That's solid. Solid work. I'm surprised he didn't run and catch it before it hit him. But yeah, no, the Flash is a really good show once you get past those first, 10 to 12 episodes and you get past the bad CGI. Iris is such a good character. I think she plays a really good, I don't want to say that lady or in distress kind of thing.
Yeah, but she kind of is. She kind of is that part, but
yeah,
she's a lot more than just that.
Yeah. And I'm trying to think of a kind of a parallel relationship that is. I would almost say like a Fred and Daphne from Scooby-Doo kind of deal, where they're in love, but they don't show it until like way later. Which
and they both play like parts in what they do.
Yeah, exactly.
Whether it's superpowers or whatever.
And I do have
Brains.
I don't have it with me, but I have my Star Labs crew neck that I have, which is the laboratory that when Barry gets struck by lightning, they take him to, and the best part I think of that whole lab is the treadmill that they have him run on, where he can just run at super speeds. I don't know why, I always thought that was cool. And then they have a big track that he runs around to get to time jump and stuff like that, which is kind of cool.
So I have written down like all of the villains that were in like all the shows.
Yeah.
And most of them like you see in all the shows.
Yeah.
Like Merlin, Damien Dark, it's a huge one.
Oh yeah, yeah.
He's in like all the shows. But Colton, I don't know if you're like into the comics or anything.
He's definitely not.
No,
No.
I mean, oh, man, some of these villains are so good though. What about League of Assassins? You know anything about that?
I have no desire for DC and their nonsense that they put out.
Uh,
So what's turning you off then? Just because you're too busy comparing it to the MCU?
I
I think
mean,
so. I think
I
that is
think
the
so. I
problem.
think that's my problem is that I'm so team MCU. Um, I think the MCU did it right. I think they came out with their movies first and they were better. Um, they had a timeline and a story that they were trying to tell not only with the movies, with a singular movie, but with
All of
movies
them.
combined.
Yeah.
Um, and the DC, whatever the heck they're doing, I don't know if it's Warner Brothers or if it's actual people at DC are screwing everything up, but I mean, you can't. There's no continuity anywhere. It's all hodgepodgey. I would be more okay if the DC universe absolutely disappeared and they just made solo movies because it was proven with the Christopher Nolan movies that it can be done.
That's true. And then look at the new Batman.
The
I
new
mean,
Batman, I think, is gonna. I think the new Batman, if it comes out as a trilogy, it will be better than the Christopher Nolan trilogy. Plain and simple. I think Aquaman might, maybe Wonder Woman. The first one was good. The second one,
Mm-hmm.
I think it was more of a miss than a hit.
See, I think you're going about this too much with a movie because you cannot compare Marvel to DC movies, in my opinion.
So I
Because
mean,
Marvels are just so much better. But you can't come into these shows comparing it to Marvel because there's just no comparison.
but yeah,
Like,
but Marvel is producing TV shows right now. So
yes.
Marvel has some sort of a gauge.
But you also have to think about it as these TV shows were aired when Marvel movies kind of began.
Okay. Why is
So you
that?
can't.
Why did DC decide to do TV shows first? With
Why did Marvel decide to do movies first?
because it makes more money.
Well, maybe they were thinking, oh, maybe Netflix is coming out. We're going to prepare for it.
I highly
I don't
doubt
know.
that the idiots at
Yeah,
DC
you're
thought that
probably
far
right,
ahead.
but
They don't. They.
I'm
I don't
pretty
even
sure.
know if they
Wait,
can see past their shoes.
what did it air on?
CW.
It was
CW?
on. Yeah, but the CW got bought out by.
Oh, I
They
don't know.
bought. Gosh, I just talked about this like 2 hours ago with somebody. They went to the CW got bought out like 3 times before it
I'm
was
not
the
surprised.
CW.
Not surprised.
Because I know my dad first watched it on TV.
Yeah, it was on CW 25.
Yeah, I was gonna say Channel 25.
Yeah, in our
But
area
it was
25.
yeah.
So just
But it was
think about how
something.
many
It was
people
something
watched it
before
through
that.
that.
Yeah,
It was something before that. It was a Farmer 5 channel. Like
yeah.
Yeah, but you can't movies are probably going to gross more money in the end. but-
obviously.
I think they
But
just
they
had.
did they have a plan at the very beginning of Arrow that we are gonna make the Arrowverse? Did they have that plan?
Oh, I
Oh,
almost
no, they
guarantee
didn't.
it. I almost guarantee
Yeah,
they
they
did. With
the way
how
that
much
the
that they
No.
had that goes into that universe,
with all
they
the
had to have
shows.
had a plan.
I
You
don't
got
believe
you
it.
have to watch it because you said there's no continuity, right? There's nothing. But if you start from beginning to end of these shows, everything ties together. Everything from start to finish comes together. They have these amazing crossover episodes
Mhm.
where they do
in
Crisis.
every single season.
Yeah, Crisis, and they have all these characters come together and fight a battle, kind of like what they do for these Avengers movies. You just have to wait a longer period of time. But yeah, you between the Crisis on Earth X and Crisis on Infinite Earths, and
Mhm.
like there's so many of these crossover episodes that is the reason you watch these shows, because you're watching the season just so you can get to that crossover episode and see it. If you're watching all of these episodes, all these shows at one time, for those things to come together and all those characters to actually fall into place, and all of the storylines that literally actually led up to that moment where
Mhm.
they actually fall together, and you see all these characters come from a certain moment in their storylines just to do an episode together, and it
Here
is
he comes.
amazing. No,
Here
it's
it
not.
comes.
I'm still going, Colton. I'm on my rant, and I'm going to keep talking because
I want you to keep
Crisis-
talking. I want you to keep
Crisis-
talking.
Crisis on Infinite Earths is the best episode that they did in this Arrowverse. There are so many callbacks to. We talked about this before we actually even started recording tonight. The older shows, Smallville, they brought back Clark Kent from the Smallville show. That was probably early 2000s, late 90s, and just all these different characters. They actually went to his farm in Kansas. Like they went to the farm, and they came up, and there he is chopping wood. Like it just blew my mind to see that, and they didn't spoil it. They didn't put out anything beforehand saying that they were going to have him in there. There it was, and I grew up watching Smallville, so seeing that, I was like, "Oh my god, that's amazing!"
But like even after the crossovers end, like it perfectly continues on.
It does, yeah.
It's not like it's just thrown in there and then it's
they fall
out.
right back into their timelines and they just go.
Okay,
like,
so
yeah.
are we
It actually
did we get it all
affects
out?
each timeline.
Gunnar, did you get it all
it's
out?
hard to breathe afterwards. I'm like,
I want you to take a big deep breath for me. I want you to know that everything's okay because I'm gonna fix you right here.
I got
Colton,
your continuity.
let it
I
out.
wanted to talk
Let it
about
out.
continuity.
You brought up the fact that I have to watch the entire crap season just to get to the end, which is what kind of episode is that?
Crossover.
They're not at the end. Like it's like mid-season.
Okay, so a
It's
mid
like-
season,
It's like
and then I have to go
episode 8 of
back and
20.
finish. So I have
Yeah.
to go back and then finish the rest of the crap. Okay, so anywho,
If
so
you
these
want to.
crossover episodes.
You can't say crap if you've never seen them.
Gunnar just said that. That most of the seasons are not good until
no,
they
no,
get
no.
until they get to this crossover episode.
No,
That's why you watch the season is to get you get drugged through the mud to get to this crossover episode.
there are certain times during the beginning of Flash where the show's not good. Like it's just between the CGI and some of the cheesiness. But I don't think Arrow has a single bad moment. Maybe towards there's some episodes that might be a little like
Yeah,
But
yeah.
every show has that.
Most TV shows have that.
Even Marvel shows have that.
Yes.
I
Oh,
mean,
I
we've
won't.
seen
I won't disagree with you. We've talked about that.
But there are moments in every show that just are really good too.
So would you say that would you say that these crossover episodes would be compared to an Avengers-esque movie where there's a big group up and they all get together? Okay, is that fair to say?
Yeah.
Okay, so usually they have movies that are before these Avenger-esque movies. Let's just take Phase 1 for example. Okay, Iron Man 1, not a great movie, but not a bad movie. Great introduction into the MCU. We have Captain America. Great movie. We have the first Thor. I'd say closer to the middle part, lower middle part, upper middle part. Not great, but not terrible. And then we have what is Iron Man 2 in Phase 1?
I don't know. You have it right behind you, bub.
No. Yeah, Iron Man 2 is in it. And then I think we have Avengers.
Yeah.
So there's not that many. Avengers 2. Iron Man 2 is not great. I would definitely say it's probably the worst of the four of those movies. But they're not bad movies. Then it leads into something good and then it continues from there.
But the only thing that holds those movies together and actually brings them together are the end credit scenes. Like if you're watching the first phase, the end credit scenes are what is pulling that Avengers team together. You watch these shows and you're getting that through the whole season. You're getting snippets of the Flash, you're getting snippets of Arrow, you're getting snippets of the Legends or whatever in the middle of these seasons.
And like randomly they like sometimes interact.
So I get snippets for 20
episodes.
episodes when I could just take a minute and a half, 2-minute end credit scene and be done.
I'm just hoping that we get a lot of people saying, Colton, you need to watch these shows because I think that to be honest, I really think you would enjoy them.
If we get 50 people to comment and say, Colton, you need to watch Arrow or the Arrowverse or whatever the heck this is called,
You'll give it a try?
I'll give it a shot. I'll give it a shot. If we get 50
people.
50, and I want legitimate emails, none of this fake crap.
Okay, so have you seen Daredevil?
Yes, love Daredevil. I've rewatched Daredevil more times
So
than I
why'd you
probably
watch
should.
Daredevil?
What?
Why'd you watch Daredevil?
Matt Murdock and Kingpin.
That's okay.
I was always just a
So,
big Foggy Nelson fan, and
Yeah, Foggy Nelson's great too. I'm like,
but
I
it's
think they
also
nailed
a
the casting.
show.
They
yeah,
they yeah. So
So what? What's
it's within the MCU. I think that's the problem is that I'm so pro
you're so
MCU.
biased?
yeah, yeah.
I can't bring in another universe.
That's why I'm saying you need to like get out of that headspace.
Well, I'm in the headspace that DC needs to stop with this universe crap and just do solos. Don't bring anybody together.
But you've never
But
You
seen them,
don't
so you
need
can't say that.
you don't need oh, I just did.
But you're also talking. You're also. I feel like when you're talking about that, you're talking about the movies. You're talking about the Justice League, and you're talking about that.
You're right. I have a hatred for those movies that have tried to emulate any type of a universe-esque feel.
Yeah, I mean, I am 100%
But you say
a Marvel
they
fan.
do that, but the thing is that DC is doing that too.
Yeah,
They're
starting to
trying to bring a universe together. I think automatically I already think, okay, it's going to suck because it's DC doing a universe thing.
right on. I mean, I don't think
Not-
it would suck.
Yeah,
I
I'm
don't-
not necessarily disagreeing with you.
I think the problem is that the DC movies have put such a bad taste
Yeah,
in my mind that I think that I don't trust them.
Yeah.
That's like it's like okay, a lot of people into the MCU, a lot of people gave up after Endgame. That's
Mhm.
it. I'm totally done with Marvel. You know, I went from, 08 to 20 what was it? 2018 is when Endgame came out or something like that. Anywho, and they were done. Okay. Okay, that's fine. I'm giving Phase 4 a shot because I was one of those people who's kind of on the fence, but I really like the MCU. And I have no and Marvel, Kevin Feige, John Favreau, those guys have done absolutely nothing to make me think that they can't pull out Phase 4 and keep me hooked for Phase 5 and Phase 6 and so on and so forth.
Mhm.
Whereas the DC idiots, they keep failing. They keep losing. And it's how can I trust them or put faith in them when that's all I know them to be is just losers?
So I don't disagree with you at all. I think you're spot on. I don't like the DC movies pretty much at all. I'm not a big fan of any of the DC movies. But I'm not talking about movies with this. I'm talking about shows.
Shows that you haven't seen, shows that you haven't tried yet. I mean, these are shows that you definitely, I think if you sat down and watched them, you would get sucked in. It would be your Bridgerton. I'm just saying it right now. You would flip them on and you would try to look down and not watch them, but then you would be like, oh wait, oh that's cool. Okay, I'm in. I really do. I think that's what happened with me. You turn on Arrow for the first time, and you're watching it, and you might just be kind of distracted at the start, but once it starts getting real and good,
Yeah, it hooks
you'll
you.
get sucked in. 100%.
So I tried that. I tried that with Clone Wars, Star Wars.
hmm
I tried that. I got through the first 2 seasons and I couldn't do it anymore. I could not do it.
Yeah, just skip to like the later seasons.
Yeah,
on
that's
that
what everyone
show.
keeps telling me. That's what everyone
Yeah.
keeps telling me. And I'm like, what's the point of that?
Yeah, because it's definitely a kid's show, but I think when they realized that the audience that they were getting was actually 20
Older.
to 35-year-olds,
Yep.
they're like, oh, we should make this a little
Bump
bit
this
more
up.
adult friendly too.
I
While
think
still being
the problem is the presentation that's been given to me first off the platter is it's part of the DC universe and
Mhm.
Yeah.
I think that's my biggest hurdle to get over is that because I don't trust them. I think everything they touch turns to crap unless it's outside of the quote unquote a universal DC movie. Because I don't think the new Supermans weren't bad. They weren't great either, but I don't think they at least stood better. And I think Wonder Woman has done well. And obviously I rave about the Christopher Nolan movies
Mm.
and the new Batman movie. So I think they just do better with single standalone movies. I think Black Adam's going to be good. I'll probably see that.
Mhm.
Um,
So do you have
that
something
one.
against all their superpowers?
What?
Do you have like a problem with their superpowers? You
No,
not
I have a
dislike
problem
them?
with the directors and the writers and
Okay.
the producers. I have a problem with how they make the movie.
Well, personally, I think that the MCU, like all their characters' superpowers, are so much cooler than the DC universes.
They have a lot of similarities though too, and
There are a lot of similarities, but when you see Doctor Strange, like you're just like that hooks you just watching him use his powers and
mhm.
in his costume and all that. But like what's gonna hook you on DC? There's
Yeah,
no outstanding
an
Superman stuff.
an orphan billionaire.
yeah.
Oh, it sounds like there's a couple of those in the
Billionaire,
DC.
playboy, friendly.
There's too many.
Oh wait, that's Tony.
That's Tony. Yeah.
A guy
Try
in a
again.
green suit that can shoot arrows. I mean, is that gonna hook you?
Or a guy in a green suit that can make things with his ring in his mind.
I was gonna
No,
say
not to not to diss
green-
on Green Lantern because I think that's a really cool power. I just when you think of Green
The
Lantern and the first thing
movie
that comes
just
in your
off.
mind is Ryan Reynolds, and you're like,
Right. It's
yeah,
so bad.
sorry.
Just don't
Yeah.
just don't make the suit green.
Yeah, yeah.
Deadpool.
So, Colton, I do want to try to sell you on one of these shows here, and that's Legends. Legends of Tomorrow.
Legends
Okay.
is the one you're trying to sell them on.
Yes. This
I
show
want to hear this.
has, well, for one, you know why I love this show? Time travel.
Time travel.
And it is like it's the
It
coolest,
is so good.
The
It is so good.
coolest thing is that they time travel back, and there's one episode in particular that I want to tell you about. They go back to, it's probably the early 50s, maybe late 40s, and they run into Elvis. And Elvis has a guitar that's like cursed, right? That when he plays the guitar, he becomes like a really good singer and he's really good, dude, that episode is so good. Just to see them go back and like they meet Elvis and he goes through the whole thing where he gets up on stage and he is playing his song. I can't remember what song it was, but like I think stuff like that would really pull you into Legends because they run into people that like they go back into wars and they go back into
Yeah.
there's so much history.
The one I just
Really?
watched had Edgar Hoover in it.
Yeah, it's just crazy. Like these people that they bring in, you say they bring in, but they're obviously characters, but like the ideas that they had and the writing, like everything in Legends is I think spot on. And that would be my favorite show in the Arrowverse because it, like Lucas said earlier, it was one of those that was just kind of a throwaway show. It felt like at first,
Yeah,
but
I think
it
it's
just
like
hit
a lot
hard.
of
It
they're
hit
all
hard.
misfits from all the other shows,
Yeah.
pretty much.
I'll give it 25. If I can get 25 people tell me to watch
Legends
to
of Tomorrow.
to
Freaking
watch
bidding
Legends
war.
of whatever.
Tomorrow.
Oh, tomorrow. Yeah, if I can get 25 people,
Yeah.
I will give it a shot.
Okay. Okay. I think you would enjoy that though. And not just the time travel aspect because I know I have just made you hate time travel, I'm sure, but
It's a tough subject when I'm around you. It's,
Yeah.
my favorite is when there's someone who doesn't know that you like time travel talk and it's brought up and I'm just like, God.
It is probably my second favorite one of the four.
Arrow being number one.
Arrow's by far my favorite. It's the one I started with, and it's just
Yeah, lots of good action in Arrow.
and in the honest opinion though, they're all to the point where they get so many views on them, so they have to drag them out. There's good ending points for all of them, but that's pretty much every show that's ever been made.
No, sirree,
For
Bob. No,
most of
sirree, Bob. I am saving ammo for episode 10 with the Emperor. With my favorite TV shows because there are shows out there who know when to end it. And my number one show, and I don't want to spoil it, but I really want to just shove it down your throat now, Lucas.
Do it.
I can't. I'm saving it because
Yeah.
because there's a reason why I truly believe this is the greatest TV show ever. And the main reason is because they knew when to end it and the director had the plan from the very beginning when he made the first episode, and he told them it is going to be this amount of seasons, no more, no less. They came to him going into the last season, practically gave him a blank check and said, "Here, make 2 more seasons." And he pretty much just gave him middle fingers and said, "That's not what's good for the story."
He's
And
talking about Dexter.
I am
Oh God, no.
Oh god.
Yeah, I could.
Lucas.
I could get into a rant about Dexter.
Oh,
That's
man.
for a
Yeah,
whole
that
different
was so
time.
bad.
For a whole different time.
So yeah, there are shows out there who do care about the integrity of the storyline
Yeah.
and the plot and don't take the money. Unlike The Walking Dead is probably my biggest I love that show. It was great.
We
And
got
then
him
it
into
just
a rant about shows.
yeah, now we're forget the DC universe. Now
Let's
we're
just skip to episode 10. Welcome to episode 10.
get your dad on the horn now.
Yeah.
But The Walking Dead after the 5th season, it became the same thing over again. Wash, rinse, repeat. Find a new
Yeah.
settlement, take over. Bad guys come, get rid of bad guys, find a new settlement, so on and so forth.
Mhm.
And it just gets you can't do that. And
Yeah,
the only
it's
reason
just
they kept
repeat,
doing it is
repeat,
because for the
repeat.
money. It was too big to fail, and they made sure to compensate them for it, and it just drove me insane.
Yeah. I think that same feeling for this Arrowverse.
Yeah. I
They
feel like the money was.
they have been wash, rinse, repeat. Now, if you start from the beginning and you watch, it's all new and it just feels new. And there's every show has its own feel to it, which is nice. But yeah,
There's what, like 12 seasons of each one?
yeah, I mean, close to.
See,
So-
yeah,
I mean, you could do
that's
so
just too
much.
much. Exactly. That's the problem.
But I'm
But with-
still
but-
I'm still saying, like, you have to watch like the first 7 or 8. Like, they're so good.
At some point in time, and this is kind of at some point in time, Chris Hemsworth will be done playing Thor.
Yeah.
At some point in time, Jeremy Renner will not be Hawkeye.
We will have an 8th Batman.
That's true. Eventually.
But they're not going to reprise the Thor role. They're just going to move on because that's what Marvel does.
Well, I wouldn't say that.
Well, I'm hoping.
I wouldn't say that, Colton, because if Natalie Portman takes on the mantle and she becomes Lady Thor, then your favorite.
I'm telling
your
you,
favorite
I
leading
swear,
lady.
I swear, she's a variant. She is Mighty Thor. She is a variant, and this will be the only time we see her.
Okay. I'm gonna say yes, but I'm gonna tell you probably not.
Fingers crossed.
Lucas? Did you see the trailer for Love and Thunder?
I have not.
Dude,
What?
go watch it.
It's good.
Yeah.
As much as I bash, and the passion that I bash with, people might think that I don't want to see it. Oh no. The exact opposite. I'm excited for that movie.
Yeah.
Because as soon as Doctor Strange is done, I am like, it's Love and Thunder time. Let's go.
If it's as good as Ragnarok, it's going in the top 5. For
Yes.
sure. So
See, I'm not allowed to talk about movies with you guys anymore because I say something, you guys just give me rolling eyes back. So.
Not all the time. Not all the time. Just
So
most of the time.
I just can't do it anymore.
Lucas, Colton has explained that the rolling eyes were because you asked us if we had watched it yet. And it was more of a no shit, Lucas. We've seen
Yeah,
it.
come on, Lucas. Don't ask me another
maybe
dumb
that
question.
was me trying to start a conversation with you about it. Instead,
Hey.
you gave me rolling eyes and just denied my whole interest in the show.
Look where this got you, though. You're on the podcast.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
And we found
have
a
you
name
not-
for your boat.
and we found a name for the boat.
You're welcome. So wait, are you not watching Moon Knight anymore?
Oh, I am.
Oh, okay. Did
I
you
have,
watch
not,
the new?
I have not watched the new one yet. I was going
Oh.
to tonight. We went out to eat. I was gonna come back and watch it with Sid, but then Gunnar was like, hey, we're doing the cast. The pod.
doing the pod.
Sorry, the
We're doing
pod.
the pod.
The pod.
Jeez.
And I was like, okay, I'll just make some notes and then be ready.
And
Gunnar,
then
we're gonna have to go
7:30, I
back and-
fell asleep on my bed.
Yeah, and this guy falls asleep, and like I was like, okay, Gunnar, I just downloaded Zoom, and then I get nothing back until freaking 9:57,
Yeah. I'm sorry.
the hour I could have been watching Moon Knight.
Yeah. What were you saying, Colton? We need to go back and do
I was
what?
gonna say, Gunnar, we're gonna have to go back and re-listen to this episode a couple times and see if Lucas passed the test in order
Yeah.
to be able to come back,
Yeah.
because there's gonna be grades,
Oh,
and
yeah.
if you
Oh,
don't, if it's pass
Actually,
fail,
I actually
It's
have my
pass fail,
checklist up
so-
over here. I've been looking at it. If you see me look over, I have the checklist for whether or not our guests were a good guest.
correct.
And Colton keeps passing.
Yeah, I don't know how, man. Sometimes he just rips me, and man, I just need to kick this guy off. Hey, this podcast is a 50-50 thing. I just need Colton to learn
Okay.
to do the plugs more often now. He just needs to get in that dance, that plug dance.
He needs an introduction too.
No, my introduction is laughing at whatever
Yeah.
nonsense Gunnar comes up with, and then I answer. I
Yeah.
always respond to one of his
That is true.
shenanigans.
That is
Do you
true.
like that, Lucas? Is that kind of a fun thing to like listen
I
to at the
do.
beginning?
I love
Yeah.
it.
Thanks.
But Colton just laughs and then moves on. I'm gonna say, Colton.
Yeah, well, I like to try to say like, and alongside me as always. That's
One kill.
yeah. So
You'll have to send me those plugs. Like, you should like take a picture, send them to me, and I can start trying them.
I can add you on the
But
Google
then you
Doc.
won't laugh at him.
Well, I'm also like always giving like finger guns.
Yeah, have you watch on
and
YouTube? Yeah,
and they're never there, I'm sure.
no,
Oh
Nope.
man.
it's just funny because you're like, yeah. So I'm assuming, Colton, we have not sold you on these shows yet, but he did say that if anybody
50
out there, yeah, go ahead.
50 people. If I get 50 people to say, "Hey, watch these shows," it doesn't have to be Arrow or watch DC. Watch the DC shows. 50
The
people,
Arrowverse
I'll
shows.
watch Arrow. 25 people, I'll watch Days of Thunder.
So what are you? Oh jeez.
Legends of Tomorrow.
Legends of Tomorrow, forgive me.
So what are you looking for in a show?
Help me, Tom Cruise.
What am
Yeah.
I looking for in a show?
That's a good question, Lucas.
The story is important to me, and then from the story it goes to the cast, because the cast then makes the story. And if I feel like the story isn't good or the cast isn't good, then I poke holes in either or. And that's when I start to dislike that show and lose interest in it. So those are the two big things I look for, is the story and the cast.
Okay, so what is your all-time favorite show then?
I
No,
can't say that right
That's
now.
episode 10.
That's episode
episode
10 with
10.
the Emperor.
Okay, then what is a good show that you've seen? That I can compare it to?
Seinfeld.
I don't
A
think I've
show
ever seen
about
Seinfeld.
nothing.
Oh, man.
A good show. I really like Daredevil. Oh gosh, I couldn't think of
Okay,
it for a
yeah,
second.
Daredevil's really good. I don't remember when I watched Daredevil. I feel like I threw it in after Arrow.
Have you ever watched Peaky Blinders?
I started it and I couldn't get into it.
See, I got into it big time.
I thought it was a little slow at the beginning.
It's methodical. It's a noir type show, in my opinion. Not
Mhm.
necessarily crime or a detective, but it's slow like a detective, except for it's on the crime side, and it's about being 3 steps ahead of your opponent.
Okay, so
Mhm.
take that show.
Okay,
What made you get sucked in?
the characters in the story.
The characters in the story.
That's Lucas. I don't know how many times I got to say that, but
Okay,
that's
okay,
that's
those
what-
are it.
Yeah, there's
So Arrow is not DC. There you go. You can watch it now.
Yeah. In the opening credits, is there
Has
any
DC.
is there any sort of emblem that has DC in the opening credits or the end credits?
He's actually making a pretty decent point though, I think, because if you're looking for a show for the characters in the story or the casting in the story, these shows have really good stories and really great casts. Like the people that they got to play the main superheroes are very, very good actors. And yeah, they might be a little cheesy occasionally, but I know you like some cheesy shows. I've seen what you watch. So I think if that's what you're looking for, these are shows for you.
50 and 25.
Yep. If you throw out the whole DC thing and don't even think about DC,
That's hard. That's hard to do, man. That's hard for me to do.
until literally a Batman walks on or a Superman comes in, and then you're like, oh, hey, look, it's DC. But yeah, that'll do it.
Personally, I would not start with Supergirl though, because I do not think you would like that one.
He would probably actually fall in love with Supergirl for some
He
reason.
probably would. That'd be the one that he actually likes.
Dude, I really like Supergirl.
I would definitely I would die on that hill if that was true.
Yeah. Oh, I know you would. It's not
There's
a
so many
terrible
good-
show. It's not a terrible show, but
It's not.
a
It's not
great show.
terrible. But there's so many good villains and just different directions that I think the Arrow goes, and it just hooks you. Like the villains that they pull into play are just so good.
What's the one guy, Lucas, the guy from Prison Break, the two guys from Prison Break?
That are in Legends of Tomorrow.
Well, they're both in Legends, but they're both in Arrow also, correct? Or the Flash?
They're in the Flash.
Yeah,
Leonard Snart, which is Freeze.
Yeah.
The Freeze guy. Then you have Mick
Not
Miller.
Mr. Freeze,
It's not Mr.
Yeah.
Freeze.
but
Then
he
Mick
has a
Miller is the
freeze gun.
king.
Yeah. So you have one that has a heat gun, one that has a freeze gun, and they're actually the two brothers from Prison Break. I don't know if you've ever seen Prison Break. I've never actually watched it fully through. I've seen. some
I know
episodes,
who the
but
two guys are. That's pretty
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
Also
So-
a great show.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not in my top 5.
Have you seen it though?
Yes.
talk about wash, rinse, repeat.
Seasons 1 and 2, I thought were great.
Right on. Do we
But
need to do anything else to get you to watch these shows, Colton? Is there
50 and
anything-
25, I told you.
Okay.
I'm gonna make
okay.
50 accounts. You can't deny it.
I'm
If you
gonna
go
make
through-
I'm gonna make a TikTok. This is day one of trying to get my buddy Colton to watch the DC TV shows.
This is 1 month.
Hey, Gold, you watch Arrow? Yeah. Hell no, I ain't watch that crap.
Oh, now we're on to day 2. So yeah, what else you got, Lucas? You got anything else you want to say about the shows?
I don't know. I don't think there's anything we can do to get him to watch it because it's DC. Just because the label.
Yeah, I think you're right. But 1525, we're gonna shoot for it, and I'm gonna
1525.
make sure we get to that goal. So he has to at least watch Legends and fall in love with that show.
I think it would be 25 Arrow, 50 Legends.
No, but I'll be honest. You told me Arrow is 12 seasons with 20 episodes. What the heck is that crap?
Not 12.
It sounds like it's too long.
It's pretty. How many seasons are there?
Google it. You tell
I'm
me.
Googling it right now.
He grabs his phone when he has literally a computer,
a
in front of
computer
him.
right in
It's
front of
quicker
him.
to do this.
That's true.
Plus, you don't hear the clickety clack on his computer.
Yeah,
his
my
keyboard.
keys are.
So yeah, guys, everybody's now heard it. Colton said if we get 25 people to recommend that he watches Legends of Tomorrow, he will try the show out. If we get 50 people, he will actually try starting from Arrow, watching everything through.
And I will document me watching, so nobody thinks that I am not a
Pulling
man of my word.
Pulling some legs.
There's 8 seasons.
8 seasons.
See, I was 4 too many.
Yeah, but there's 20. How many episodes?
21, 22, 23 apiece.
That's a lot.
There's 170 episodes total
But you will
across
get
8
hooked.
seasons.
You will
Oh
get
my
hooked,
gosh.
and you won't even realize you're watching
I will after the 4th one, and it repeats.
them.
Who else is it?
Drive me insane.
Yeah. Oh, he's pointing at his screen. He's looking for something.
Yeah, what are you looking for there,
I'm
sweet
trying to
pea?
find who it is.
So
What
if
is?
anybody that's watching, if you look in Lucas's background, he's got some things he pulled off of his Disney wall and his gaming wall. He's got his lightsaber that he built in Disney, and then he's got his Fortnite. What is it? The pick squeak.
Yeah, the pig squeak.
Yeah, yeah.
There it is.
We found that at
the Halloween place.
yeah. What's that Halloween place called? The one that pops up during Halloween. I don't have it, but yeah.
I don't want to. I want to say Halloween Town, but it's not.
That's what I was gonna say. I was gonna say
That's a
Halloween
movie.
World.
That's a movie.
It is.
No, it's that Halloween surplus store or whatever that pops up
Yeah.
in all of your
Yeah.
old Kmart's.
I was gonna say
Pretty
Pier
much,
1
yeah.
Imports.
yeah, exactly.
But no,
And
I
then
was-
he does have a 2012 Ryder Cup flag. Who's that signed by?
Webb Simpson, man, my
Webby.
all-time fave.
Nice.
That's pretty cool.
Little WS right there. It's even got the certification of authenticity
Authenticity.
Yeah,
on the back.
nice.
That's pretty
Nice.
cool. That's really cool. I like that. That's a neat flag.
I love Lucas's office because he's got that wall in the back there with all of the stuff
wanna
from
see it?
Disney. No, you don't have to show it. You don't have to move your
I
camera.
can just turn my screen.
Can
That's
you?
true. Yeah, so there you have all of his Disney stuff, which is really cool. And then there's his little gaming wall. Oh, look at that. There's his astromech droid. Yeah, definitely cool. I'm gonna have myself one of those here in a couple months.
Oh, and you can't forget this.
Oh,
Oh my gosh.
the Lucas bobblehead. That is so good. Dude, it actually
Wow.
looks so much like you. That is so cool.
Get that thing away from me. I'm gonna have nightmares tonight.
Yeah.
Oh,
All right,
man.
Colton. Well, I hope that we have made at least a little bit of a dent in your mind on these shows. I mean, it's
Hey man, I went 50-25. I think 25 is doable. 50 will be a huge stretch and more of an excitement thing that we got 50 people actually watch and tell me to do
yeah,
something.
yeah.
I think 25 is attainable.
Yeah,
So so yeah, I have faith in the listeners to get me there. So I mean, I could have said like 150.
Yeah.
Or I could have just said 100
Yeah.
for both.
You're
Like,
being realistic in a little bit.
Yeah, I like that you're being
realistic.
realistic. I like that you're being realistic on this. And
and like I said, it's also high enough that, I'll be honest, I'm not gonna want to watch these shows.
yeah, yep. Oh, I know.
Man,
Well, Lucas, I really want to thank you for coming on with us. I know it's a little bit
course, of
late
course.
for us to be on here doing this, but I mean,
Yeah.
it is
all
what
good.
it is. We all have to work tomorrow, so
I blame
we'll be
Colton.
all right. Yeah, I blame Colton too, but it's okay.
Yeah. Sorry, I was watching Moon Knight.
Moon
Yeah.
Knight.
I didn't get that.
Yeah, I might watch it before I go to sleep. I might just watch it when I get home this weekend. So,
It's like a 52-minute episode. It's kind of long,
uh,
but it's
yeah,
good.
but
It's
I-
a
this
pretty
is-
good episode.
Yeah, everyone said this was kind of like the episode that would either make or break it.
Well, yeah, what is it for? It's 4, right?
I mean, it
So-
is 4. There's only 2 left, but I mean, there's some. It's good. The last 15 minutes are really good. So
And by the time this airs, it'll actually be the week of the last episode.
yeah.
So, yeah.
Nice.
Well, all right,
So
Lucas, we're gonna go
I
ahead.
have one question. Do you know which is streamed the most? YouTube, Spotify, Amazon?
Spotify. Spotify is, yes. So if I go and look at our analytics for the week, we get most of our listens on Spotify.
Nice. That's what I
Most of
watch.
peop-
That's what I listen to it on. So
Yeah.
I was gonna say most of the people I talk to say Spotify.
And Colton, I should probably share those analytics with you occasionally. Maybe
Yeah,
a
I
couple
mean,
times before the podcast.
I
if
I
didn't think
always
about it.
ask. I always ask how people listen to us.
Yeah.
I know someone listens to us via Amazon Music or Amazon Podcast or something like that.
Amazon.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Amazon Music.
I had a couple people find us find me through Facebook. Just
Yeah.
that I was repost something and like, I give it a shot.
Yeah.
So that's cool.
Yeah, but Spotify is our main listen. We don't get too many views on the YouTube videos, but I mean, that is what it is.
Yep.
I just do it just for the entertainment of it.
Mhm. Well, I honestly love it. I think it's great.
Thanks.
I'm
thanks.
hooked when I watch it. I listen to when I listen to it.
Yeah.
I listen to the entire thing, start to finish. I think it's great. I think you guys are doing great.
Yeah, we have fun.
Well, thank
doing
you. I
it.
appreciate that.
We have fun doing it. We do
Gunnar, I
appreciate
just
it.
want you to know I was talking to a listener and they think you do a great job of running the pod.
Oh,
And I
that's
said
nice.
I full-heartedly agree.
I agree. He's the two-time.
So
He's-
you listened back to episode 1 today because you had texted me and said, "Man, our audio was loud," and I thought you were talking about the other night. And I'm like, "Oh crap, I'm gonna have to go do a lot of edits on that."
No,
And then
no.
I forgot we had talked about you going back and listening to episode 1 just to hear the difference from then and now. So was it worse? Was there a lot of like stuttering and like?
I mean, I don't know. I think we're both super awkward with it. So I mean, I think I think it'd be more something around like 20 if we make 25 episodes.
Yeah.
If like once we get that far, then hopefully that our speech impediments have hopefully gotten better or worked themselves
Yeah.
out. But I think the biggest difference was just the quality. The sound was the biggest thing I noticed.
Yeah.
We've got that dialed in, I think, now.
You can definitely tell a big difference.
There's occasion like episode 4 I definitely screwed up. I didn't check all my levels before I started, and man, it was all just blown out. So it is what it is. It's all makes for a good listen. I didn't really get any bad comments about it, and just people like, "Hey, yeah, your mic was loud." Well, yeah, I know. I edited it, and I feel bad. I'm blowing out people's eardrums. I'm sorry. I'm sorry,
And
everybody.
it's not like it's episode 100 and your mic is still loud.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, we've got some grace period.
And we don't have an expensive, nice setup either. We match what we have. That way we know what we're doing, and that way we can give each other pointers also at the same time, saying, "Hey, this we can change this, or you can change this," and we do it through Zoom, so it's not like we have a professional mixing board here either. So
Correct.
It's not like you do it side by side.
exactly. And everybody, episode 10, Colton's coming down to the Golden Mojo Entertainment Complex, where we are going to talk with the Emperor about our favorite TV shows. And Colton had kind of mentioned a little bit earlier that he is pumped and he's ready just to rip the Emperor.
I'm excited because if he disagrees with him, I will take him out back to the woodshed and just have my way with him.
He's a master podcaster now, huh?
Oh, he is the Emperor, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep, he is.
We're all a part of his empire.
I think as I go to bed tonight, the Boozer team is what they're calling themselves. The United States Paranormal team from Indiana did their first episode. So I think I'll listen to that here in a little bit. I've heard it's pretty good. So yeah.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Well, Lucas, for real, thank you for coming on and talking to us.
Yes, thank you.
It was
hanging out. And
I appreciate you trying.
I feel like we didn't do it, but I feel like we had fun talking about these shows that we.
I feel like he has a little bit more understanding.
Yeah, I do too.
But he's still stuck in his ways.
Yeah, that's okay.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong.
Yeah.
So I just, honestly, it is what it is, and I'm just a MCU diehard. I can only belong in one universe, okay?
It's okay. It's okay.
And I get it. Your mind can't keep up with all these different universes, and that's okay.
Well, he has a child that he has to take care of, and that probably takes up most of his brain power anyway. So.
Yep. 30 other things to do.
Yeah, and softball's coming up, so there goes all of his actual physical being able to stay up and do things.
Monday and Tuesdays are done.
This man's gonna have no life.
Yeah. All right.
You guys will learn. You guys will learn.
Oh yeah, I'm prepared. I'm ready. Let's do it. Bring it on.
Colton, if it makes you feel any better, Supergirl does have a 4.5 out of 5-star rating on Rotten Tomatoes.
Really?
Oh my god.
It was higher than Legends of Tomorrow.
Wow.
Is that okay? Whatever. Let's do some plugs. Oh man,
Let's do some
I
plugs.
find that kind of hard to believe.
I thought so. It's 3.8 to 4.5.
Wow.
How many votes
I think it was like 3,000 or something.
for each one?
I think.
Oh, well then that's not good.
I don't know. I'll look real quick for you.
Well, yeah, you look while I do this.
Yeah,
Everybody,
do some
Plug.
plugs. Do some plugs,
You
Gunner.
plug.
Yeah.
You plug.
everybody, thank you for listening to the Call Guys podcast. Get us wherever you get your podcasts, whether that be Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, Google Podcasts, Podbean, Stitcher. Man, there's so many places where you can get podcasts anymore. Also, if you have any recommendations for the questions of the podcast, or even what we should talk about coming up in our future podcasts, you can send us an email at thecallguyspodcast@gmail.com.
Gmail.com.
We'd really love for you guys to send us some recommendations on things to talk about, just so that we can please you guys more instead of us just talking about random stuff, which is okay too. We like to do that also.
Do our
Um,
jobs for us.
Check us out on Facebook. That's facebook.com/thecallguyspod. Also check out Golden Image Podcast at facebook.com/Golden Image Podcast. And our friends at the Murd Nerds Podcast. That's facebook.com/Murd Nerds. And finally, along with all of the other podcasts that the Emperor has come up with and has under his new umbrella of podcasts, the United States of Paranormal Podcasts at facebook.com/United States of Paranormal Podcast. And like I said before, they have two teams, Team Tejas and Team Boozers. And Boozers just put out their first episode, which should actually be episode 2. So go check that out and give them some love on there. They talk about the Hotel Galvez on Galveston Island in Texas, so which I've actually stayed there and it is haunted. So yeah, crazy story. Yeah, you guys have anything to add? Lucas, did you find what you're looking for?
131 votes. But right above it is IMDb, has a 4.4 out of 10. 21,900.
On
And that's for
Supergirl?
what?
That seems more realistic. Supergirl.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Rotten Tomatoes all over the place. I hate when commercials say, and this has 98% satisfaction on Rotten Tomatoes. It's like, yeah,
Yeah.
but who's voting on Rotten Tomatoes?
I feel like it's the Angie's List of movie reviews.
Yeah,
You just
for
pay
real.
for it.
Yep,
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah. All right. Anything to add, guys?
I think we're good.
All right. Well, like I said before, I want to thank everybody for listening, and we'll see you next time.
50 likes, baby. 50 likes.